Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. I hope that you are all doing well, that you are all having an incredible day. To start things off, for those who have not noticed, while you are probably all sleeping, Bitcoin has once again shot up in price. It is now currently around the $8,700, $8,800 mark. It says Bitcoin has spiked to its highest mark this year so far, continuing the bullish trend that has doubled Bitcoin quotes since the start of the spring. As the new week has begun, Bitcoin price has soared 10% from where it was at the end of Friday. As per Bloomberg, Bitcoin was trading around $8,800 during the Tokyo session at 10:25. Currently, the Bitcoin price is slightly down, around $8,600, $8,700, depending on where you are getting your prices from. So this is a very interesting step, and I am quite interested, and I mentioned this before a couple of months ago. I was very fascinated to see if the market would kind of pick up on the fact that a lot of things are supposed to be happening in June. There's even some new June news as we go further into the video. June is meant to be a very significant time, as it is we're getting closer to the Litecoin reward getting cut in half, and we're also expected to have a bunch of not even announcements anymore. A lot of things actually launching in June. So what's very significant about Bitcoin, I mean, if you didn't realize thus far, continuing up in price, is that Bitcoin hasn't really slowed down despite what a number of analysts, air quote, have been saying over the last couple of weeks. A lot of people continue to think, or rather have thought, that even when Bitcoin was around a couple $6,000-$7,000, that Bitcoin was going to dramatically fall down. We were still getting those $800 Bitcoins. Once again, I say good luck with all of that. As of right now, the way that we are moving and the way that the momentum of the market seems to be going is that a lot of people, especially if you saw my last video, the fear of missing out has set in very, very hard. This is no longer a test. This is not us like thinking, okay, what could possibly happen? We know that a lot of major things are going to be launching in June and in July, especially because we had news, I believe, from Fidelity that they planned on launching it within a couple of weeks, and that was about 3 weeks ago. And we also had news from the New York Stock Exchange that they were going to be doing, what was it? I think Backed was going to begin sometime in June. I think it was mainly for like heavy institutional investors, but this means that Backed will have officially launched, and then eventually normal money will be able to get into it as well. So this is all incredibly significant. And so where we stand right now, it looks like if we continue this momentum, we will pass by 9,000. At 9,000, this is the fear of missing out doesn't even really define it anymore. Once we hit 10,000, I already told you guys, that's it. That's the point where everyone's going to completely lose their minds. An increase is not even the word anymore. So many people have been asking me, my friends and family and stuff like that, about cryptocurrencies the last like 4, 5, 6, 7 days. Even when I see friends and stuff like that, it's definitely picking up. When we hit 10,000, that is the 5-figure mark that we have been waiting for. This over here, for those who are not looking at the screen, it says Bitcoin still in parabola, could soon hit $11,000 if trend holds. Once we hit 10,000, I think the sky's the limit at that point. This is when the market will definitely start moving up. I don't think that it's random that the market is moving up, especially as we're about to get all of this news. This is why I was so confused at the beginning of the year when people were like, yeah, Bitcoin might pass by 5,000 this year. No one's sure. And I'm like, we have the New York Stock Exchange, we have the NASDAQ, and we have Fidelity, and we have Goldman Sachs and all this other stuff launching, some TD Ameritrade, like just within the United States this year. I was like, if you think that Bitcoin is going to end the year at 5,000, because at that point it was 3,200, I was like, you're not paying attention to everything that's kind of happening around the world. We're no longer in this little tiny niche market that we were in 2016 and 2017. There's an enormous amount of money waiting on the sidelines to get into it, and even more so, there's actually a bunch of tinier money as well that's also going to completely thrash into the market once they realize that they should have gotten in a long time ago. But that's what's happening, at least at the current moment. I think within the next day or two, if we pass by 9,000, everyone hold on, because it's going to get really serious really, really fast. Next up, Goldman Sachs backed cryptocurrency startup known as Circle says a lack of clarity from the United States regulators about digital assets is hurting the country's crypto market. In a blog post published on Thursday, Circle put forward its opinion about the current regulatory environment for cryptocurrencies within the United States. According to Cryptocurrency, the startup, uncertainties caused by conflicting signals from regulatory bodies in the country are frustrating many stakeholders. There's of course, the seal for the SEC for Circle. The major part of this frustration comes from the classification of virtual currency tokens as securities. As reported by Bitcoinist, Poloniex, a Circle-owned cryptocurrency exchange, recently had to delist 9 tokens just for people within the United States. On Wednesday, Bitcoinist also reported that Circle laid off about 10% of its workforce. The company blamed restrictive U.S. regulations as the reason for the decision. It's getting to the people didn't listen to me, believe me, trust me, thought I was blowing hot smoke. They thought I was just kind of saying things into the wind. I said I noticed last year that the U.S. is not getting it together. It was widely believed for a very long time that the United States was going to be the leader in the cryptocurrency space, completely smashing it, taking over everything. Everyone would know exactly what was going on with the crypto market because of what was happening in the US. And this is the third time now. This is not the first time that we have news like this. This is the first time from the people from Goldman Sachs. The people from Goldman Sachs have come forward and told the US regulators to hurry up. We've also seen people within the SEC also say this as well. As if Bitcoin's price had remained 3,000, 4,000, dipped down to 3,000 again, gone back up to 4,000, we would have none of this news. But the fact that they know, if I can feel it, I'm pretty sure the people who have billions of dollars, they know exactly what's about to happen to the market. Part of the issue is that they feel restricted in some sort of way as far as getting into the market because they don't know exactly how deep they can go, exactly how much money they can put into it. There's still no real tax anything as well. Like we had news from the IRS last week that they're working on it. They're definitely figuring out a way for people to pay their taxes in crypto. And it's like, you should have done this about 4, 5, 6 years ago. Like cryptocurrencies haven't really changed. It's just that the SEC has been the most, the largest cloud floating over the space, declaring that everything except for Bitcoin at the moment is a security. And if you all remember as well, there was someone last year who said that he thought that Ethereum was not a security. And then we had someone 3 or 4 or 5 months later who said, nothing is written in stone. Every coin should still be seen as a security. And it's kind of like, get it together. So the point is, like I said, this is the third time that heavyweights within the United States have come forward to state that they need to hurry up. Something is wrong. They're hurting the U.S. cryptocurrency market. And I mentioned before, this is why I said it. The rest of the world is moving on. When you realize that there are other countries talking about making bonds on Bitcoin, or because their currency is garbage and they need cryptocurrencies to kind of prop their economy up, that means other rich people around the world see exactly where this is going and they're starting to pump their money into the cryptocurrency market, whether that is directly on a cryptocurrency exchange or over the counter. Doesn't matter. They're gobbling up cryptocurrencies at an enormous rate. What's happening is that the country that was expected to kind of take it all over, they're taking their sweet time. That's not to say that the SEC could not surprise us next week and go, gotcha, here's some rules and regulations, now the market can move forward. Probably not going to happen. And the fact that I was reading an article, and it was probably one of the saddest things I've ever read in my entire life. They were talking about how they believe that we as a people should band together to let the SEC know that a Bitcoin ETF is definitely okay and they should let it go through, so that the United States market can definitely pick back up and kind of take over where China has, and parts of Asia have taken over as their dominated cryptocurrencies. And it was like it was like an announcement for people to kind of come together and tell the SEC, no, it's fine. Please ETF right now so we can stay at the head of at the head of the line. And it's like, there's an issue going on. If Bitcoin passes by 10,000 and we still don't have any rules, that's looking like it's going to happen very, very soon. When Bitcoin passes by $10,000, the SEC has to get it together. I don't know what's wrong with them. But once again, regardless of what influence the United States might have had on the rest of the world with the US dollar, that era is ending very quickly. And the rest of the world has taken to cryptocurrencies, especially, I can't even give you a specific country because it's kind of happening all over the place. Here's the actual blog post from Circle where they're talking about, hey, get it together. Next up, there's a YouTube channel called Capital Creators. I just actually saw this yesterday. They performed an experiment offering students the choice of either $1 or 1 Bitcoin. And it says the overwhelming majority chose the dollar. I don't have the video up and I can't play it for you because of copyright laws, yada, yada, yada. If you can find this yourself, definitely watch. It's about a good 15-minute video. It's very interesting because you think logically that young people in university would have a bit more of an idea of exactly what a Bitcoin is, that Bitcoin is definitely worth over $1. Nope. There was a video I watched. This was years ago. It was very interesting. It was about a guy. It looked like Florida. It looked relatively warm, and he's walking down the street and he's asking people. He's like, I think it was like, would you rather have like $10 or like, would you rather have a like a gold coin? And like everyone was also like, no one was choosing the gold coin, even though he was telling them like, this is worth $1,200, and they were like, oh wow, I had no idea. I thought it was about 5 or 6. Like people for some reason don't know the value of assets or investments. Not really sure why. Like I said, the channel is called Capital Creators. This is not a paid partnership, not a paid sponsorship in any way. I thought the video was interesting. I love things like this where people kind of go into the streets and they ask people questions and the people just can completely get it wrong. I don't know. I found it interesting. Anyway, you should all go watch it, and let's move on. Next up, over the last couple of days, Litecoin has been doing extremely well. The reward of Litecoin is going to get cut in half. It's about a good, 2.5 months? Give or take, somewhere around there. By the time we are in the heat of the summer, Litecoin's reward is going to be cut in half for the amount of coins that are going to be distributed, created, made by the network. The market has definitely picked up for Litecoin in anticipation for this. It's what I wanted to see for a very long time, and I hope that Litecoin continues with this momentum. I think it definitely will I hope that Litecoin outpaces a lot of the other coins, just because when we do have the insane bull market of everything kind of skyrocketing for the course of however long, Litecoin will perform a lot better as well, and the price will go a lot higher than we saw before. Anyway, the point is, this is happening, obviously. A lot of people are getting very excited. I'm glad to see that Litecoin is doing fairly well. We have not heard an enormous amount from the Litecoin Foundation or from Charlie Lee over the last couple of 2 months. Hopefully we do hear from them relatively soon. They did announce that they were planning on implementing, it wasn't Mimblewimble. Was it Mimblewimble? They plan on doing something for private transactions on top of Litecoin. They said by the end of this year, it'll be implemented onto, I think, through a soft fork. Can't wait for it. Let's move on. Here's a really weird one. Telecommunications giant Swisscom has unveiled a new approach to using non-fungible tokens, or NFTs. The product called, I don't know if that's new or now. It's N-O-O-W, so it could be new. I'm just going to say now for the sake of my sanity. Will display art that you own, and you and the artist will know how many copies of his or her work have been distributed. The app comes from a Zug-based Deloop, which spun out of Swisscom's accelerator known as Kickbox. From the greater Zurich, this makes a bit more sense. If it's from Zurich and it's from Zug, of course they are making something that allows you to view the art that you own. That sounds very rich people-y. They said, digital art is displayed on screens in places such as hotels, restaurants, and offices. Changing sequences or animations create a unique ambiance. However, a lack of copy protection systems and distributed platforms means that these works are often used illegally. The startup Deloop intends to change the situation with its Now app. The blockchain solution guarantees the ownership rights for buyers and payment from artists. The service will be available on Swisscom TV, a set-top box service in Switzerland, and include 100 works by 30 artists. Stephanie Merlin Wenger will curate the first batch. So, I guess this is kind of cool. It's very interesting. It leads us to the world where we were talking about, the weird things that you can do with cryptocurrencies or blockchains that we did not think before. The world is moving, accelerating to a very digital kind of place. I'm not exactly sure how much or how quick this will catch on, but the discussion comes down to the non-fungible tokens, which is a very big thing that many platforms are trying to do. You may have heard me talk about non-fungible tokens before. What it comes down to is that there are a lot of cryptocurrency blockchain platforms that are trying to make these a real thing, because the idea comes down to, if you own something, you should be able to make a token that then is indistinguishable or distinguishable from other cryptocurrencies, and therefore you are the only one who can own this token because you have the private keys, and therefore you own the rights to this. And this is how people are starting to digitize and tokenize real estate, art, cars, land, and all this other stuff. And this is kind of where it comes down to. I just didn't see art on TV being one of those things, but lo and behold, apparently when you're rich in Switzerland, this is a thing that you do. Next up, Tron is actually in the news. Hold your breath. Tron founder Justin Sun has dropped yet another classic pre-announcement on Twitter. Sun is hinting at new details on Tron's integration with the file sharing platform known as BitTorrent. The full announcement will be on the 1st of June. I'm actually holding my breath for this one, not because I'm a Tron fan or a BitTorrent holder. It's mainly because Justin Sun is infamous and famous at the same time for announcing announcements before they actually end up happening. And he always says that something major is going to happen. A couple of months ago, maybe even less than a year, the people from Tron purchased BitTorrent for around $100 million. And I thought that money could have gone to many other greater things. However, the people from Tron thought this was appropriate. They have purchased BitTorrent, and apparently the idea is that BitTorrent is going to be integrated with Tron, potentially even integrating BitTorrent with actual Tron TRX tokens, being able to use it on their platform. No one knows. This is all speculation, of course. I want to see exactly what they end up doing. I feel like it's not going to be what we think. However, Justin Sun announcing news causes the price to go up, and this is why I mentioned before, when you want to talk about a coin that's a security, Tron is probably a security. Anyway, the point is, this is happening on June 1st. I find it kind of interesting that they're doing it the same exact time as the people from EOS are also doing their B1 June event, which is also expected to blow the roof off the top of the house of the building of the cryptocurrency space. The people from EOS have been talking for a very long time about their B1 thing, and I don't think it's a coincidence that it's also happening on June 1st for Tron. So may the best winner win. And yeah, like I always say, if you can do it, do it. And if Tron can, dare I say it, a couple of months ago, there was a couple of developers and coders, and they were saying that BitTorrent is so massive that the moment that Tron tried to properly integrate it into its systems, that Tron would melt. So saith the developers. We'll see. We only have a couple days left for this news, if it's actually going to end up happening. Anyway, let's move on. Here's some kind of interesting news. Big Sky Country has gone crypto-friendly with new legislation addressing the use of utility tokens. The governor of the U.S. state of Montana, Steve Bullock, signed House Bill 584 into law earlier this month, recognizing utility tokens and exempting them from being considered as securities under local rules with caveats. Titled Generally Revised Laws Relating to Cryptocurrency. What a weird bill. The bill was sponsored by State Representative Shane Morigo and sets out that utility tokens transactions are permissible as long as the purpose of the token is primarily consumptive, that is to say they are utilized. The issuer must not market the token as an investment or for speculation, and must still file a notice of intent to sell the tokens with the state securities commissioner. Other restrictions include yada, 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 so and so and so. The only thing that I have seen that has been relatively promising is that a lot of states within the United States, weird, have started issuing their own cryptocurrency laws, either trying to exempt cryptocurrencies from being securities or making the laws very favorable. I think there's also 1 or 2 states that have very low capital gain tax if you do decide to sell your cryptocurrencies. I think they're also, a lot of them have said, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure there's at least 2 states who have some type of if you are a crypto startup, I think you pay like 0 in taxes for the first 5 years that you're in that space. So they're trying to get all this money flowing into them, build up this so-and-so around them. And it's been states that one would not normally assume would be keen or up on this. That is to say, typically you don't hear about Montana when it comes to cryptocurrencies. You would expect more Los Angeles or New York. So very good on those lawmakers for actually doing things like this. It's kind of cool. I wish other states would kind of get to it as well, but we can't have everything that we want. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. They are Professor Wally from Gunbot University, SC Verzely Fine Art, Crypto and Beer Shipmate, Brady Niels, L. Doug, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, Shaolin Fried Rice, Gilboa Snake, Crypto Joe, Mohair, Maroney, Carl Birchenoff, singer-songwriter Mike Savitz, Rai, Yasha Harari, Amy Starsheen, Jeffrey Ramsey, Crypnotic, Clara T. Snowden, Crypto Artist, Coldy 3D, Nicholas One Earth, One Piece, One Love, Setsuna, Nick Kanaya, Richie Rich, The Third, RF Dusty, Cody, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Jeremy the Photographer, Jim Gardner, Minting Coins, Arthur Yaku, Nick Mangialavori, and Anthony Charles. Thank you all an incredible amount for your support. At the moment, the market is green. It looks kind of nice. I won't even lie. Bitcoin is currently sitting at around 8,774 US dollars, depending on where you are getting your prices from. Other cryptocurrency exchanges, or rather, exchanges, were showing Bitcoin's prices hitting $8,901. So it kind of depends on where you got your prices from. We are still doing exceptionally well at the moment. Ethereum is up by 7%. XRP is 6.6%. Bitcoin Cash, 8%, what have you. Litecoin is up by almost 12%. EOS is also up by 9%, and TRON is up by 8.3%. One of the most worrying things, and I worry for the wider cryptocurrency space, is that a lot of people, I look on forums, I look on blogs, I look on websites, and I look to see exactly what is happening in the cryptocurrency space. There's something happening, and I think that people will regret these movements later on in life. A lot of people are desperately pumping on different websites and forums and on different chatting things. A lot of people are pumping Bitcoin Cash and also Bitcoin Cash Satoshi's Vision, spreading false information that the US government has allowed Craig Wright to have the patent for Bitcoin, and therefore he is the real Satoshi Nakamoto. The US government, you can Google this, and I mean do this right now. You can even stop this video and find it. The US government has, the US Patent Office has actually even come forward themselves and said, no, they don't recognize Craig Wright as Satoshi Nakamoto. It's just that anyone can file a patent. I made a video on this about a good 4 or 5 days ago, but the day afterwards, I didn't have it in a video. The patent office actually came forward and said, no, we do not consider him as the creator of Bitcoin. But on forums, a lot of people are trying to pump it as hard as possible because a lot of them are probably going to be dumping the coin very, very soon. Anyway, the point is, always pay attention to where you have your money. It is very important, especially as we move closer to a $10,000 Bitcoin. I want everyone out there to make an enormous amount of profits, and I do not want you to have your money in a coin that is going to pump and then will dump, and then you will check the prices later on and you will realize that you were holding that coin and now a lot of your money is gone. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. Very exciting times ahead. I am trying not to hope for a $9,000 Bitcoin by the end of this day, but you know, I can dream. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening. I hope you enjoyed, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See you.